All right. So before we get started, I think we should all go around and introduce ourselves. I'll tell you a little bit why I'm here. I'm here because our friend Zoe is having a hard time right now. We would definitely say that she's in a crisis situation here at school. And so Mrs. Walker invited me to come in as an interventionalist to collaborate with each one of you and bring everything together in a plan to get Zoe back on track. So I've worked with everyone here, but just in case, my name is Penny Caldwell, and I'll just have you guys go around and say your name and what your interest is, what you do. So.
I'm Kyra, and I'm Zoe's foster mom.
I am Lisa Stein. I'm the school counselor.
Carrie Raza, special education teacher.
Lauren Mills, classroom teacher.
Annika Walker, principal.
Okay, and then our beautiful court advocate is also busy recording this just in case it's needed for court records. So her name is Allison, and there she is. If you can see her. If you hear her responding, she'll be behind the camera. So, okay. So like I said, we're here for Miss Zoe, and even though I'm the one running the meeting, Zoe is the one driving the meeting, even though she isn't here today. She is doing art club with some new friends. This is something new that she started that we will also talk about today in her behavior plan. So what started this was Zoe was having some disruptive behavior at school, and Mrs. Mills decided to keep some data on the behavior so that we had a starting point for helping her. So as of today, she's monitored her for 5 days, and the target behaviors that she collected data on were physically combative, verbal attack on an adult, and nonverbal defiance. And in 5 days, Zoe had 16 episodes of nonverbal defiance, 3 physically combative episodes, and 5 verbal attacks. And so we compared this to a peer of the same age. In a 1-week period, Zoe averages 8 in 5 days, and her peers average 1 or less. And so she has a rate of behavior that's 125% higher than her average peer. And basically what this means is she's showing us she needs help. So from there, I conducted interviews with the teacher, interviews with mom, interviews with Zoe. We did an FBA to kind of pinpoint what the problems were, some things that maybe trigger the behaviors, and some reinforcers and consequences. So what we found out from looking at the behaviors was that although it's been noted periodically for her to be defiant in specials classes, she's never been combative, and she's easy to redirect in those rooms. They're short-lived episodes, and her special teachers agreed to do a countdown with her going forward as part of her compliance if she is defiant in the future, which we'll get to that part of her behavior plan. Zoe's visits with her mother seemed to trigger outbursts at school, and the separation from her brother recently has intensified this. She's in need of counseling and strategies to use and so she can verbalize and process her intense emotions. She's also in need of soothing mechanisms to relieve her anxiety before it reaches the combative stage. The visitations with Benaya are guaranteed going forward. That's something I've confirmed with the court, and I just want to get confirmation that's correct.
Yep.
She will have those court visits. They're not planning on ever taking those away. So that's a good thing for her, and she was happy to hear that is something she can count on. So the advocate team, along with the judge, has also agreed to reduce visitations with her mother to once a month, while Zoe's finding stability. And her mother's visitation will solely increase in the presence of Zoe's counselor once it's deemed safe for Zoe emotionally, and her mother's therapy progress shows, she's shown progress in therapy. So then she will be able to increase her visitations. So, does that sound correct, Miss Allison?
Yes, it sounds very correct.
Thank you. Okay. So, what I thought we could do before we start talking a little bit more about the behavior plan and some things we see I have my next little chunk I want to share is what Zoe said about the behaviors and herself and how she's feeling. So I thought it would be good for maybe Mom and Mrs. Mills and Mrs. Raza, anything you notice about Zoe, areas where she's struggling, either emotionally or maybe even academically, and then also some really great things about Zoe. So.
I know that Zoe struggles with opening up and talking. She shuts down a lot. I know that some of her coursework is harder for her, and she loves art. She's a very, very good artist, and she loves to draw.
Okay.
What Zoe has told me is that she really loves science. Sorry if I'm stealing that one from you, Mrs. Mills. And I haven't really noticed that any specific subjects trigger any defiance or shutting down. It seems to be more what's going on in her head.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like maybe she's missed directions or, isn't working and I tried to get her going again. And then she's like, wait, why are you upset with me?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just to piggyback off of Carrie's, she does gravitate toward more exploration, whether it be outside or science or art, things that she can be creative with. She does have a lot of episodes where she shuts down and you don't really know what's going on in her head.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't like surprises. She likes to know what's expected of her in the day. So a lot of heads up with her helps. She has a lot of time where you can tell the wheels are turning and you don't really know what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. I would agree with that. So, Mrs. Walker, I don't know how much you know Zoe, but did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I noticed that she doesn't seem to be gravitating toward any peers. She's kind of a loner.
Okay.
And is that by choice, or is she being alienated by her peers?
She doesn't seem to say she's being alienated. She does say that she feels that they think she's crazy or that they think she's weird. She hasn't really said any names or anybody that ostracizes her. So I'm not sure if she's taking herself out.
I think she definitely feels different
Yeah.
than her peers.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Now, has she had visits with you in the office for behaviors, or?
I've come to the classroom, actually at Mrs. Mills' request, for certain behaviors, and we've been able to kind of calm her down and take a little walk and have a little bit of a visit. But as far as her being sent to the office for quote-unquote punishment, that hasn't been an issue at all.
It's a positive thing.
Yeah,
To
it's
go
not.
calm down to
Yeah, so just
center
don't have her
yourself.
escalate any further.
Okay. So, I just wanted to share some observations and notes from Zoe's interview with me. So Zoe states that she likes school and she doesn't feel like she has friends, but she likes art, science, and she's good at school most of the time. She uses phrases like "it doesn't matter" or "no one cares" quite often when you talk to her. She's withdrawn and her affect was flat when she was with me. She states that she feels like she is stuck in a nightmare that won't stop, and as soon as she feels like things are getting better, she's happy, another bad thing will happen to her. She feels like no one at school cares about her, and when asked what her biggest struggle at school is, Zoe did not reply for a long time. After the question was restated, she said it would be easier for kids to like her if she didn't freak out. And I stated that she is loved and liked at school, and asked her if she realized that when she is upset and gets angry, that we want to help her, and that we don't think she's bad or crazy, and what she's doing is telling us that she needs help and she's stressed out. She started to cry, and then I told her when she calmed down that she has power over her life and decisions that we make about her. And so I explained that my role was to help her find out what she feels would help her. And I asked her if she would like to work with me and the team to come up with ways that she can improve her behavior at school. She said that she just wants time to calm down. That would be helpful. She, again, talked about liking art, that she doesn't like when people don't tell her what's going on. And then I asked what the specific behaviors were that she would like to avoid happening at school, and she stated that she would like to stop yelling and throwing things at school. And I agreed with her that those are disruptive behaviors, and that we all thought that they were disruptive as well, and it would be a lot easier for her if we could avoid that at school. I asked if she felt we could add in following directions right away, and she said that she does think she could do a better job of that. But she's usually too upset to, or that she doesn't hear the teacher because she's thinking about something else. I asked what types of things she's thinking about when she's distracted, and she said bad things. I then asked what she likes at, that we could use as a reward for her, and we could reward her for not having outbursts and following directions. And so then she told me that she liked being outside, yoga, the beach, art, and spending time with her brother. Her affect lifted when she talked about her interests. I then told her that I could come up with a plan to help her, and that I would check in with her before the adults talked about it, to get her feedback and ask her how she felt about it. She also helped to write her behavior goals. And my goal with this was to give Zoe some self-determination, because she doesn't have control over most of the things that happen to her, but she does have control over her emotions and making decisions for herself here at school. And so we really do want to empower her. So that was the biggest focus of this after talking to her. And also helping her to learn strategies to verbalize that she's upset and recognize triggers and how to process through those. She just feels very helpless right now, and so we need to teach her a lot of strategies. So just so you know, everything we're going to talk today, Zoe has already gone over this with me, and I did tell her that if we make any changes, we'll let her know. And some of it she really liked. There were a few parts that she seemed a little bit not so happy about, but I think that's just because we paired up the consequences really, really well. Because the kids shouldn't want a consequence. So, so before we get going, are there any questions or comments before we head into the action plan? No? Okay. So, one thing that came up in the parent and teacher interviews was that when she's shown love or someone tries to comfort her, she does withdraw, and building relationships is very difficult for her, which we talked about. And you have to know what matters to her to make connections, and even that, she'll still lash out at you, and it's a lot of work to build a relationship. So going into this, I think we should all remember we're going to have to probably do this one step at a time. Can't hit her with the whole plan at once, and that we're going to have to be really flexible. I know that we need her to get her work done, but she's not going to learn anything if we don't give her time to give this plan a chance and find some stability and build relationships with us, which is going to be difficult anyway. So let's just keep that in mind. I know working with kids who can be challenging, it's like, oh my goodness, just do your math facts. But maybe that's a sign that you both need to stop doing the math facts and take a minute to talk about something else or do something fun together. So it's okay if you need a break too, because it's a hard job. So, okay, so plan of action. Zoe's going to be receiving outpatient therapy after school once a week with a licensed psychiatrist. She did undergo an evaluation, and she was prescribed medication for depression and anxiety. Zoe went with her mother and her foster mom, and so mom is aware of this as well. Okay, and then one thing the therapist is going to do is some homework kind of task, so that Kyra and Zoe can work on some bonding and trust building exercises, and then also helping her to accept affection and soothing. So those will be some great things happening on the home front. As far as interventions for teachers and everyone here at school, we need to improve Zoe's self-concept. So a lot of that goes into the self-determination with Zoe setting goals and taking charge of her emotions, making her feel safe and loved at school. So everyone at this table and the PBIS team will put Zoe on an unconditional positive regard plan. The PBIS team also agreed to take around her picture to the support staff. So whenever someone sees her, it's, hey Zoe, so happy you're here today, lots of smiles, we love you. We just really want her to feel like we want her here. So Zoe will also be provided with opportunities of choice at home and school to help her feel empowered. She's going to engage in her own goal setting, like I said. And then we're going to reward her for emotional regulation, avoiding outbursts, and following directions. She's also going to join the art club so she can do something she loves with peers her age. And that'll be after school. And then Kyra has been given information on positive self-talk she can do with Zoe. So when Zoe's being negative about herself, you can instead counter that with some positive affirmations. So, let's see. She doesn't play a lot with kids in her neighborhood, but we're hoping that with time we can work her into going maybe on play dates with activities to the beach or the museum or something like that, and find a few close friends that she can build some relationships with. So that's something that's also in the works. Okay. So the behavior management plan, I put together using Zoe's most effective reinforcers. Her most effective reinforcers are time with Benaya, choice, art time, spending her token points on art supplies from the school store, and extra recess. Her most effective consequences are loss of art time, making up work during choice time, and losing token points. So